So for the sake of completeness, I'm like putting in the last match of the league. My opponent was like memeing on me, which is a bit of a disappointing final boss, but like I'll take it, I guess, for like the 5-0. But yeah, my opponent was on like blue-black mill. This was like so close to a perfect hand, apart from like Field of Ruin ruined like the chance that this could ever be a keep, so it's just kind of pretty easy mull. This hand, it's pretty weak, like definitely on like the worst spectrum of hands, but yeah, I just kind of toss back a land in the situation. But I have like Goyf and a way to rebuy the Goyf if it gets removed. But yeah, my opponent just starts off like turn 1 crab, so I just kind of like know what shenanigans are up now, so it's just like trying to race whatever they're up to. Well, I kind of at this point I was like afraid that it was some kind of I think it's like a crab vine deck or something, what they're called, but yeah, no, I discard them. I see like Archive Trap, Surgical, and I'm just like, well, I guess that's not actually a Surgical, it's that card, however the fuck you pronounce that. So I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm probably playing against Mill at this point, so I think I just wind up taking Surgical. It's the better like surgical type effect, not actually costing my opponent mana. I believe they. But yeah, my opponent like mills me over, and they mill me more. So now, like, suddenly my Goyf is, I believe the technical term is ludicrous size on turn 2. Yeah, so I probably pretty comfortably play through this. Like, I just play the Goyf, play the Liliana, Edict the Crab, and then just like get there off the back of like Tarmogoyf very quickly, becoming like a 6/7. I don't know, it was definitely a bit close and a bit unfortunate that my Lurrus got taken out of hand, but again, just like Liliana Edict, then my Goyf can just be the ridiculously sized monster he was destined to be. Yeah, I think I even unearthed something at this turn, like unearth an ooze or something. Yeah, get an ooze, eat the crab. I'm still like swinging in for lots of lethal next turn. And then, yeah, that was the game, and like the next one's not even particularly competitive either. It's just like I think my opponent took Malta ley lines a little too seriously, and they just kind of like mulled straight to 3, which had like a land, a ley line of Sanctity, and a ley line of the Void. I did bring in the well. My sideboard strategy for this match was yes. I put basically like everything which seemed like it would be vaguely useful. Just crammed it into the main deck. Like I didn't go like the whole hog because at that point I'd be like really screwing with my land to spells ratio. But yeah, just kind of like bringing in a bunch of extra cards so I have like effectively 8 more life to start this match off with is kind of where I believe I want it to be. But yeah, no, like I even get to play out the Hexdrinker on the first turn, then like there's maybe some consideration for like how I want to sequence it, but oh, it's going a bit too fast. There's maybe some consideration for wanting to play the tap land on turn 1 just to like not delay my Lurrus, but I think at this point I want to get like as much power into play as soon as possible, and it's quite likely that my Dark Confidant like draws me into more untapped lands. So, and even if like I take a turn off with the Lurrus, like putting 2 counters on the Hexdrinker, and then like playing the Lurrus at a later date isn't the end of the world. So yeah, that's just kind of, or like I can even like put one counter on, like cycle the cling or whatever. But yeah, no, I play out the Dark Confidant and just start beating down with my 2/1s. But yeah, I hit the third land. Unfortunately, it's a doesn't produce color, but I believe I just choke my opponent this turn because now like they can't untap. I have 4 power in play. It's a 3-turn clock, and yeah, second Field of Ruin's not the best here, but that is like does give me the mana to just level up my Hexdrinker, go for the guaranteed 2-turn clock rather than like playing out the Ooze or anything. And yeah, no, but there's not really a lot to say on this match. Sometimes your opponent like mulls to 3 and you win. So yeah, good games, good first league. There was like a bunch of sloppy play, and I didn't like. Ultimately, it all worked out in the end for me, but just kind of if things went slightly differently, definitely like a few games I stole, a few games where I just kind of like drew really well, and then it like wound up like winning because of it. There's a few games where it was like debatable in the lines of play I did. I've like generally how I am at the time. I'm not like actively. I don't know. Like I'm in more of a flow state when I'm playing Magic, so it's not like consciously thinking about the game. So it's a little bit hard to think back to exactly what was going through my mind at that point in time. It's more just kind of going off like what feels right, and there's yeah, but still like doing this analysis type thing does help me get more of a concrete things to how the game plays out, and that kind of like does feed back into like my decision making later at the date. But like this was definitely an okay league. I could have like definitely played stronger, but like I'll take wins like as and when I get to them. So I guess now like I've recorded all this, I have to do the fun bit of like editing out all the like staring into infinity where I like tab out to OBS. So or maybe also like run over the deck list which I used, which is yeah, no, so it's like basically is like a stock of a deck list as you can possibly get. I like lifted it pretty shamelessly just from the Greatness at Any Cost website. So it's like 22 lands. I don't really like know enough about building like a fetch mana base to tell like much like any insight into it. Just like 4 fetches, a bunch of like other things, and like I assume it works because somebody who's like knows a lot about this archetype kind of put it together. Like Bauble is obviously like pretty great with Lurrus, as well as like just general deck thinning, which in like a mid-rangey deck like Rock, there is like some argument where just like running more better cards is like more valuable than just like having pseudo less than 4 cards in the deck. But I think I don't know, it was definitely like having like a known deck list where I'm not entirely sure what's going on, because I still think there's like some things I'm like like a lot of the cards kind of do what they say on the tin, but there is like one consideration I have where I'm not entirely sure like how if I'm undervaluing Collective Brutality, because like obviously card disadvantage is pretty bad, but just like the mana advantage of giving you slash tempo advantage of just giving you like a lot of mana of effects, trading it for card advantage is like pretty strong in a lot of situations. But then I noticed there's like, say I didn't want to bring it in against the match I played against Jeskai Stoneblade, because while say like Escalate for -2 and Duress You will be like pretty powerful in like especially on the draw against Stoneforge Mystic, where I get to like kill the Stoneforge, take whatever sword you fetched up, seems really strong. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure like how I'm if I'm undervaluing Brutality. It's obviously a good card, but it seems like the situations you'd want it in are like a bit more up for debate for me, because like maybe there was like some argument with just like how creature light my opponent was, that I like could have gotten away with like trimming a Hexdrinker. Well, I did trim a Hexdrinker or whatever, but like trimming some push to bring in some Brutality, which just kind of have like more utility in the matchup, rather than just kind of push only being there mostly for like Stoneforge Mystic, Pyro tokens, and like getting Revolt and killing Pyromancer itself. So definite things to be aware of. Like the deck list, like obviously works because it's kind of not exactly a new thing, but still things to bear in mind. So now I just get to like throw this all up together in video editing, which is like horrific. But yeah, I don't know what I'm doing with this, but anyway, I guess that's yeah, replay analysis.